Hello, welcome once again to Colonel O'Truth's miniature issues and the continuing build of Undercrag City. In the last video, I began working on the caves beneath Undercrag City, starting with the outer walls and the basic construction and layout. In this video, I'm going to continue. First, a quick recap. Having completed the layout and sculpted some of the clay walls, I've painted everything with a dark grey and done my usual light grey and then white dry brushing over the top. This is just to start the stone texture. There'll be a lot more work before this is finished. You'll have seen I've installed the first of the LEDs, green for the mysterious subterranean glow and yellow for where I've got man-made constructions and artificial light. There's an archway at the top of a staircase leading to the outside world and a larger arch that leads into Southgate Square. The river has been painted with its base colour of a fairly bright blue-green over a tissue paper and glue base. Now I'm working over this at the edges of the river with a lighter shade, and I'll darken the river from the inside out using a wash of blue ink and water. Applying these various colours and tones while everything is still wet and blending them together, it's easy to create the impression of depth and an uneven, rocky riverbed. Now some black, again watered down heavily and working from the middle of the river out. Now some green. I'm not being precise about this, and I'm not covering the entire river. Darkening it off at the edges of the river where it meets the rocks. Bit more blue. While that's drying, we'll have a look at one of the first buildings for the caves. Eventually, there will be entire streets down here. But this is just a lean-to, or perhaps an entranceway into a far deeper cave that we know nothing about. It's really an excuse to have a little bit of light at the bottom of the stairs. There's going to be a window and maybe a crack under the door. As you can see, these are very small pieces of card. This is my usual black mounting board that glues together very nicely and cuts very straight. And quick drying builder's PVA glue. Doesn't look like much right now. I'm just building this up out of offcuts and occasionally making sure it will fit against my cave wall. A piece of paper from a sketchbook. Just thick, cheap paper. There we go. It's not a perfect fit. It doesn't need to be. It's all going to get sculpted together. This, of course, is just the latest part of the much larger Undercrag city build. I hope you've been following along. If you have, I hope you've subscribed, and if you haven't, please do. Also, it really means a lot to me when people like and share these videos. Doing so helps me reach a wider audience so that I can show my techniques and ideas to more people. And please keep your questions and comments coming. I answer every single one, and they really keep me going. It feels like we've started a little bit of a community. Back to the river now. I've mentioned this little recipe before. I've marked a 20mm depth on a plastic cup, and I'm measuring out ordinary water-based varnish with a few drops of green and blue ink. All of that paint and ink on the river has dried now, so I can pour the varnish on top. It looks like a big gloopy mess, but it will dry clear with a slight tint to it. I'm working it into place over all of the riverbed. Working almost up to the rock line, the varnish will spread slightly, and I can blend it in a bit more later. I don't want to make my rocks too shiny at this stage with blue varnish. A good thick coat. Also, I'm not worried about the bubbles you can see. With varnish, these tend to disappear as it dries, unlike resin. There are some imperfections on the rocks at the moment, but that's okay, I can deal with them later. And there's the bare bones of my little shed, and the template for one of the streets. When the varnish is dry, it's starting to look like a nice, deep river. I'll cover the construction and design of these buildings in a later video, but until then, I hope you've enjoyed this one. Hope to see you next time. Bye for now.